teaches English.
For a lot of Americans, Valentine's Day means flowers and heart-shaped chocolates. But for me, it means tiramisu. I made tiramisu for the first time about 7 years ago using Chef John's recipe. I'll leave a link to his video in the description. I've been making it every Valentine's Day ever since. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make tiramisu, and of course, you're going to learn some English cooking vocabulary along the way. To start things off, pour half a cup of espresso into a bowl. Make sure to use freshly brewed espresso. I got mine from a local coffee shop called Loyal Coffee. Half a cup should be roughly 6 shots of espresso. After that, into the same bowl, you're going to pour 2 tablespoons of Marsala wine. I've used port wine before as well, and it's pretty good, but I prefer Marsala. If you want, you could experiment with different dessert wines. I'm sure all of them would be pretty good. After that, give it a quick mix. You can use your tablespoon if you're lazy like me and you don't want to grab a whisk, and leave it to sit until needed. Next, you're going to separate the yolks and the whites from 2 large eggs, putting the whites into one bowl and the yolks into another. Make sure the yolks go into a metal bowl or a glass bowl or some sort of heat-proof bowl. They're going to get hot pretty soon. To get the whites out, you can rock the egg back and forth between the shells, or you could just use your hand. Nothing wrong with using your hand. Now, into the bowl with the egg yolks, add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Make sure they're heaping tablespoons, and afterwards, add a little bit more, just for fun. You're also going to add another tablespoon of the Marsala wine, and after that, we're going to bring the bowl over to the stove for a double boil. Next, you're going to want to grab an old rusty whisk, so you can whisk up that yolk mixture over the double boil. Make sure to whisk vigorously and to pick the bowl up every now and then to let some steam escape. Otherwise, you're going to end up with scrambled egg yolks, and that is not what we want. It would also be wise to wear an oven mitt on your other hand so you don't burn it while you're stabilizing the bowl. Now, this step is going to take some time, and it's going to give you a bit of a workout, but just keep at it. First, your mixture will froth, then it will thicken, and eventually it will become this pale yellow color that you're looking for. Make sure it's viscous enough to drip from the whisk in the same fashion that mine does. Now, to your newly thickened mixture, you're going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Make sure it is pure and real. We don't want any of that fake stuff. Then add just a pinch of salt. After that, we're going to add my favorite ingredient, the mascarpone cheese. And if you're Italian, go ahead and correct my pronunciation of that word. Chef John's recipe originally called for 6 ounces, but I actually put a little bit more than 6 ounces because I love the flavor of the mascarpone and because I wanted my filling to be a little bit thicker. So I had about this much left of what was originally an 8-ounce container. If you want to stick with 6 ounces, that's fine. If you want to add more, go for it. You are, after all, the Chef John of what's right and what's wrong. Once you've added your mascarpone cheese, go ahead and mix that together until it reaches a state of homogeny. At this point, you've earned a finger lick.
Oh my god.
Now it's time to come back to those egg whites. Now you could use another whisk for this, but it would require a bit of a workout, so I'm using a hand mixer. Mix those egg whites together until they form firm peaks. You'll know they're the right texture when you can turn the bowl over and they won't fall out. Now add half of your egg whites to your yolk mixture and fold them in. The reason you want to fold them in and not stir them is so that you maintain all those tiny air bubbles that you just made. You don't want to deflate the egg whites. This is going to provide a soft and airy texture in the final product. Once you've folded in the first half, go ahead and add the rest of your egg whites and do the same thing. At this point, you've earned another finger lick. Nice work.
Oh my god.
After this step, we are ready for final assembly. To assemble the tiramisu, we're going to need 12 ladyfingers. Dip each ladyfinger into your espresso and marsala mix, and then layer them on the bottom of whatever dish you'll be using. Ideally, you should be using a square dish, but I didn't have any square dishes that were the right size, so I'm using this circular dish. When you dip the ladyfingers, you're only going to want to spend about 4 seconds on each one. They're quite dry, so they soak up the espresso and marsala mix very quickly. They're thirsty little buggers. Once you've covered the bottom of your dish with the first 6 ladyfingers, go ahead and spread a little less than half of your mascarpone mixture on top. After this, repeat the process with the last 6 ladyfingers. If you've done it perfectly like I have, you'll have just enough espresso and marsala mix to saturate your final ladyfinger. After that, go ahead and pour the rest of your mascarpone mixture on top and spread it as evenly as you can using a spatula. As you may have guessed, you've earned another finger lick. To top this off, we're going to use a dusting of cocoa powder, followed by a dusting of grated dark chocolate. I like to use extremely dark chocolate, but you can use whatever chocolate you'd like. This is going to get a bit messy, so you might want to put a paper towel under your dish. If you have one, use a sifter or a fine mesh strainer to sift the cocoa powder on top of your tiramisu. Yum, yum, yum. Once it's fully covered in cocoa powder, finish it off by grating on your dark chocolate. Now I know you might be hungry right now, but you're going to need to let this sit in the fridge for at least a few hours. I'm actually letting mine sit in the fridge overnight. This will help your tiramisu firm up, and it will help all of those flavors get to know each other in the fridge. And now, at long last, you can finally sit down with a loved one and enjoy your homemade tiramisu. Do you have a Valentine's Day tradition? Let me know in the comments below, along with any other questions you have. As always, thanks for learning with me. I hope you know you're doing a wonderful job, and I hope you know I believe in you. I'll see you soon.